There's a lot of mechanical keyboards, low-profile keyboards, and of course macOS-based keyboards, but I've seen nothing that puts all three together as elegantly as this. In this video, I'm going to be talking about the pros, the cons, and the neutrals of this Nuphy Nutype F1 keyboard, and of course, whether you should buy this or buy something else. I've been using it for basically 2 months now, and I have some quite positive and negative things to say about it. I did purchase this with my own money as well, so I don't have any monetary gain in this video if you buy this thing or not. So if you enjoyed the video, please subscribe to see more like it. This video is sponsored, however, by Cybersea. You can fully host a functional website from the ground up with $0, and it's going to stay free forever, so there's not a reason not to check out Cybersea. My website is hosted with them, and you can check it out at xiatech.win, although the URL will be changing soon, or relatively soon. So yeah, if you have a website in mind or you want to make a website, this lets you make it for free. And this is better than other competitors because Cybersea will stay forever and you have my guarantee. Check the link in the description down below to get started with Cybersea. Anyway, back to the video. So first, as I was unboxing it, in the box, you can find a long USB-A to USB-C cable, which is for charging and connecting the keyboard to your computer. You also find a really short USB-C cable that we'll talk about later. And finally, for the keyboard itself, it is wrapped in this magnetic case, which looks pretty cool. The keyboard is a macOS layout, but it does work with Windows, and you can swap the Command or Windows key with the Control keys. This is done both in the software and by swapping keycaps with the included keycap puller, which comes in the box. So first, section 1, the specs. Let's talk about it. So this keyboard is a 60% layout, so it doesn't have the number pad, and actually I would argue it's a bit less than 60% because of reasons that you'll see later. You can choose between red, brown, and clear Kale low-profile switches, which are cool. You know, they're Kale, but they're not MX Cherry switches, but still, they're pretty good. And there's 20 types of full RGB lightings that you can choose from. This is in the animations, and we'll talk about that later as well. The body of this keyboard is made of aluminum, and it comes in 2 colors. There's black and white. And also this keyboard supports up to 3 Bluetooth devices wirelessly and another plugged-in device. That makes 4 devices overall. And this keyboard also has a 1800 milliamp hour battery. It's not that good, to be honest. Also, the whole thing weighs 350 grams. It's not that much. Now, remember to stay tuned to the end of the video, because I do mention some important flaws that I've seen no other YouTuber capitalize on. Anyway, let's go to section 2. As you may have noticed before, this does not have function keys. The whole entire top row is missing. The only key that is kept from the top row is the exit key, and that's taking the spot of the squiggly line. The way that this is done, though, is pretty innovative. Basically, how you access the old function keys is by holding the function, like the actual function key, Fn, on the bottom left corner, and then pressing 1, 2, 3, or something like that to get the corresponding function to like F1, F2, F3. This is a mechanical keyboard rather than the membrane keyboard found on the Apple Magic keyboards, and it is still much thicker and less portable than the Apple Magic keyboard. Plus, it features much shorter battery life. That aside, I still like the feel of this keyboard much better than the old Magic keyboard that I own. And next, there are many use cases that I can think of for this keyboard. For example, if you're like me and you use your iPad, MacBook, and Mac Mini all at once, constantly, basically every single day, then I think this is great. This keyboard can near instantly connect to different Bluetooth devices just with the click of a button. Or if you have multiple computers and you don't want to clutter your desk with 2 or even 3 or 4 keyboards, this can replace all of them just by plugging it into one and using Bluetooth to connect to the other 3 if you really want to. Again, I bought this keyboard with my own money, so I really don't get anything if you buy it or not, and this entire video is unbiased, so be sure to leave a like. Now let's talk about the pros of this keyboard. First of all, it's great for traveling. It's kind of light. It charges with USB-C. It has RGB. It's clicky and mechanical if you like that. You can choose between red, brown, and clear switches. It can be used effectively with up to 4 devices. It works great with macOS, iOS, iPadOS, Windows, Android, and so on. And of course, the lighting options are great. You can change between the 20 animations it comes with, 4 speeds, and also 4 lighting options that can decrease the brightness, and also the 4th option is to just turn the lights completely off. One problem with this is that you can't actually go inside any software to change the lighting itself, so you have to use one of the 20 presets, although I think the 20 presets are enough. This keyboard also actually has rubber feet on the bottom that comes in like this weird pattern. I'll show you on the screen right now. Basically, this hooks onto the grooves of your MacBook Pro, and that makes a great typing experience because you can just lay this on your existing MacBook Pro keyboard and it doesn't move around. And also, this is where the really short USB-C cable comes in. You plug one end to the keyboard and the other end to your computer. It connects via wires, it charges the keyboard, and there's no latency, or almost no latency. However, don't shred your wallet just yet. You haven't heard the cons. And this thing sure has some cons. It is clear that this keyboard is made by a small company because there's quality control issues. Like the right command key for me and the backslash key are really, really floppy. You can basically they just fall off if you hit it hard enough. And sometimes when I'm typing and my finger has some sweat on it, it just comes off after I touch the keys. And that's really not good for a keyboard. Also, the spacebar rattles just a bit, but you mostly don't realize and notice it because your thumb rests on spacebar. And also, the battery life is subpar as well. It barely lasts a day for me, but I use it with the always changing RGB spectrum animation with full brightness on, and I'm sure it's better with the lights off. Oh, by the way, I use it plugged in, so that's how I avoid the battery life issues. The case is also cool, but it's kind of useless, to be honest. You don't really need it. It's magnetic, it's cool. I don't carry my keyboard around. If you do, maybe you will see more use cases in it, but to me, no use. The shipping also took a month and a half, which was crazy to me. But this is pandemic season, so I won't go too harsh bashing this, but still, I really didn't like that. Their communication were also pretty bad. I had to email them, and that's when they replied to me to give me the tracking number. Overall, the delivery was not that great of an experience. I'm actually glad it came because I thought it got lost halfway. Basically, this is me warning you about the delivery, and I'm in Canada, maybe that has some play into it, but just to be honest, the delivery was not that great. And finally, this keyboard layout is extremely unorthodox. Because of space constraints, the up arrow eats into the right shift. Escape replaces my friend's squiggly line on the top left corner. And both option keys are just a smidge smaller, like a thinner option key for some reason. And I don't know what this is, but the delete key is square. Not a rectangle, it's a square, and it's smaller than the usual key with a gap on the right side. For no reason. At least what I think. So basically, sometimes I just hit that random gap on the keyboard. It's kind of annoying. And also, it's kind of loud. So it all narrows down to the same question. Should you buy it? Now, I bought this keyboard because I wanted it to replace my Apple Magic Keyboard 2 that came with my iMac in 2017. And it's done that for me. My old Magic Keyboard was having connection issues with Bluetooth, and even plugged in sometimes like bugs for some reason. I have no idea. This is like the 4th keyboard that I've bought in my life, so don't ask me why. But the Nuphy Nutype F1 connects to multiple devices, and that's also something I really looked for. I thought if this new keyboard did not have that feature, why am I even upgrading? In my opinion, you have to look for this. This is 2021. This is kind of a common feature now. So this is great in this keyboard, I like that. And lastly, this keyboard is small. Now, I'm a person who uses 3 pointing devices, 1 trackpad and 2 mice, that's the term, on my desk. And I know, you probably think I'm absurd, and I kind of am. But that takes up a lot of space. So I don't need that big of a keyboard. I don't need a number pad anyway. So having this small keyboard is pretty good to me. And if you're asking why or how I use my 3 pointing devices, I use a trackpad on the left, 2 mice on the right. If you are really in need of a keyboard and you have similar circumstances to me, then yes, I would actually recommend this keyboard. But say you want to professionally game on it. Sheesh, this is not the keyboard for you. Far from it, actually. It's loud, and it's not designed for serious gameplay. Not that anyone does that on a Mac anyway. I'm sorry, I'm an Apple sheep, but sometimes I do have to take shots. Next, for office and productivity work, I'd say get it. For entertainment and chilling, get it. But for a typing competition, per se, this is not for you. I have the black version with brown switches, and if I could rebuy this or choose a different key, switches, I would probably get the clear switches just because it's more tactile. I like the clicks, and I wish there's more clicks. Overall, I don't regret it. I give it a 7.5 out of 10, and thank you for watching. Feel free to subscribe again, and I'll see you guys next time. Take care.